Hey everyone, grab a sketchbook, get comfortable, and let's just hang out and draw today. As you can see on screen, I am working on a brand new anime character design. I've been re-evaluating my style lately, aiming for a cleaner, more light-themed aesthetic, and I really wanted to build this character from the ground up. But while I'm sketching out these initial anatomy lines and fixing the hair flow, I wanted to talk about something that has been weighing heavily on the minds of almost every creator I know. We need to talk about artificial intelligence, AI art. It is the giant elephant in the room for the global art community. Over the last couple of years, it has gone from a goofy tech novelty to a massive industry force. Depending on who you ask, AI is either the ultimate tool for democratization or the absolute death of human creativity. As someone who spends hours pouring their soul into a single manga page or character concept, I've been caught in the middle of this emotional tug-of-war. Today, I want to break down the real advantages, the severe disadvantages, how it's actively affecting our passion as artists, and, conversely, how we can actually use it ethically for references and workflow improvements without losing our artistic souls. Let's start with the hard stuff, the disadvantages. Because as artists, the shift wasn't just technical, it was deeply emotional. The primary and most glaring issue with current generative AI models is data sourcing and ethics. Massive AI engines were trained by scraping millions of images from the internet without the consent, compensation, or knowledge of the original creators. For many illustrators, waking up to find that an AI model can perfectly replicate their unique signature style with a single text prompt felt like a violation. It takes years, sometimes decades, of failed drawings, sleepless nights, and intense discipline to develop a personal art style. To see a machine mimic that lifetime of effort in 3 seconds, it's a massive psychological blow. This leads directly into the devaluation of human labor. We are seeing a shift where companies or clients who used to hire independent concept artists, storyboarders, or background illustrators are now turning to AI to generate quick, cheap alternatives. It shrinks the job market for entry-level artists who rely on those smaller gigs to build their portfolios. beyond the financial aspect, the biggest casualty of the AI boom has been artistic passion. When AI art first went mainstream, a wave of existential dread hit the creative community. I remember looking at my tablet and thinking, what's the point? Why should I spend 20 hours mastering hands, perspectives, and drapery when a machine can spit out a polished render instantly? It created a toxic mindset of comparison. It made the act of practicing feel obsolete to a lot of younger artists. When the internet is flooded with hyper-rendered, instantly generated images, the quiet, slow process of human drawing can suddenly feel invisible. We started chasing speed rather than depth, and that pressure can completely burn out the joy that made us pick up a pencil in the first place. But look, if we only focus on the negatives, we miss the broader picture. Technology doesn't move backward, and screaming into the void won't change the fact that AI is here to stay. So let's flip the coin. What are the advantages? Because truthfully, there are many. First and foremost is speed and optimization. The administrative and repetitive parts of being a comic creator or animator can be incredibly draining. AI tools that assist with flatting colors, upscaling low-resolution textures, or generating perspective grids save an immense amount of physical time. If an AI tool can automate a tedious mechanical task that usually takes me 3 hours, that is 3 extra hours I get to spend focusing on the core of my craft, the character's emotion, the story, and the composition. Another massive advantage is accessibility. Not everyone has the physical dexterity, the expensive equipment, or the financial means to attend art school. For writers who have brilliant stories in their heads but lack visual drawing skills, AI allows them to prototype their ideas, create pitch decks, or visualize their worlds in a way that was previously locked behind a massive paywall. It acts as a bridge between a thought and a visual concept, in a commercial studio setting, AI is a powerful tool for rapid prototyping. Instead of spending 2 weeks drawing 10 completely different background concepts for a scene, a director can generate 50 variations in an hour to establish the lighting, mood, and color palette. Once the direction is chosen, the human artists take over to build the actual, high-quality assets. It changes the role of the artist from just a production worker to a high-level creative director. So, how do we live with it? How do we use it without compromising our ethics? The secret lies in treating AI not as a replacement for creation, but as the ultimate assistant for reference and brainstorming. Every single artist uses references. We look at fashion magazines, photos of actors, landscapes, and anatomy books to understand how the real world looks before we stylize it into anime or manga. But sometimes, finding the exact reference you need in Google Images or Pinterest is impossible. Let's say I'm drawing a scene for my manga, where a character is sitting in a specific, awkward angle on a vintage college campus bench, with lighting coming from the bottom left. Finding a real photo of that exact scenario is like finding a needle in a haystack. This is where AI shines. I can generate a quick image of that specific setup. I don't copy the AI image. I don't trace it. I use it to understand how the shadows fall on the jacket folds or how the perspective of the bench lines up. It can also break creative block. If I'm stuck on an outfit design for this character I'm drawing right now, I can feed a prompt into an AI like modern streetwear mixed with traditional fantasy robes, color palette pastel blue and white. The output might look messy or have weird, nonsensical clothing folds, but it might give me a unique zipper placement or an interesting collar shape that I never would have thought of on my own. It triggers inspiration. You take that spark, filter it through your own human brain, and draw it with your own hands. The key is keeping the human element in the driver's seat. When you use AI as a reference tool, you are still doing the heavy lifting. You're analyzing, interpreting, and applying human taste. AI doesn't know why a line looks beautiful. It just calculates probabilities. You, the artist, are the one who understands emotion. This brings me back to the core issue, our passion. How do we protect our love for drawing in an era where machines can do it instantly? We have to redefine why we create. If your only goal as an artist is to produce a flawless, highly rendered final image as fast as possible to get likes on social media, then yes, you will always feel defeated by AI. But art has never been just about the final JPEG. Art is about the process. It is about the physical, therapeutic feeling of the stylus hitting the screen or the pen scraping against paper. It's about the mistakes you make on page 5 that accidentally inspire a brilliant plot point on page 20. It's about the intentional choices you make, like giving a character a specific haircut or clothing style to show their growth. Choices rooted in your personal life experiences, your favorite K-dramas, or your childhood memories. A machine doesn't have memories. It doesn't have a soul. It can mimic the look of a feeling, but it cannot actually feel. When people read a comic or a manga, they aren't just looking at pretty pictures. They are connecting with the human mind behind those pictures. They want to see your unique flaws, your triumphs, and your evolution across the pages. Look at classic manga like Cardcaptor Sakura. The magic isn't just in how clean the lines are, it's in the incredible sweeping layout flow, the emotional weight of the panel transitions. I want to draw the face. I want to feel the frustration of getting the anatomy wrong 3 times and the absolute rush of satisfaction when I finally get it right on the 4th try. That struggle is where human growth lives. Now, if we are going to look toward the future and figure out how we survive as independent creators, we have to talk about the massive legal question mark hanging over this entire technology: copyright. Right now, the legal systems around the world are scrambling to catch up with the sheer speed of technological development. As it stands, the current consensus in major legal frameworks, including the US Copyright Office, is that purely AI-generated imagery cannot be copyrighted. Why? Because copyright law is fundamentally built to protect human authorship. A machine cannot hold a copyright. This creates a wildly ironic situation. If a company decides to entirely fire its concept art team and rely 100% on AI to generate its video game assets, comic book pages, or marketing visuals, they face a massive commercial vulnerability. They don't actually own those images. Anyone else can take those exact same AI-generated images, put them on a t-shirt, sell them, or use them in their own project, and that company has zero legal grounds to sue for copyright infringement. For us, as independent comic and manga artists, this is actually our superpower. Every single line I am drawing on this screen right now, every unique facial expression, every stylistic quirk, and the exact sequence of my comic panels belong exclusively to me. Human art carries legal protection and corporate value that a raw string of code simply cannot replicate. As a community, we need to advocate for copyright laws that protect our intellectual property from being scraped without consent, while also establishing clear rules for transparency. If a piece of media uses AI, the audience has a right to know. Platforms are already implementing tags to filter out or label synthetic media, and this transparency is going to be vital for preserving the value of handmade, authentic work. However, the line gets incredibly blurry when we look at hybrid art. What happens when an artist uses AI to generate a rough background, but then manually paints over it, alters the lighting, and adds hand-drawn characters on top? Where does the machine end and the human begin? Courts are currently deciding these boundaries on a case-by-case basis. Some rulings suggest that if there is substantial human modification, the final piece can be copyrighted, but the AI-generated elements underneath remain unprotected public domain. Ultimately, AI is a tool, a massive, powerful, and slightly terrifying one. It will undoubtedly change the industry, shift the job market, and force us to adapt. But it will never replace the human drive to create stories and visuals from scratch. We've survived the invention of the camera, the birth of digital art programs, and we will survive this too. Use it to find references. Use it to speed up your tedious workflows, but never let it take away the magic of making something with your own two hands. If you enjoyed watching this character come to life and listening to this deep dive, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. How are you feeling about AI in your own creative journey? Are you using it for reference, or are you keeping your process strictly traditional? Let's talk about it down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Keep creating, and I'll see you in the next video.